Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Snippy Joker, and on today's episode we are going into one of the final tanks that I am previewing on my channel, and that is the God of Thunder, Thor. Now, I've played Thor a few times and he can be kind of confusing, so these are some tips and tricks on how best to play Thor in Marvel Rivals. But before we go into the tips and tricks, let's go over his abilities. Now, of course, Thor is a melee character first and foremost. However, he does have the ability to shoot out lightning. And that kind of comes with, I think it's called Thor Force. And you have 3 hammers. Or, I'm sorry, you have a total of 3 hammers, and each of Thor's powers costs a different amount of those hammers to use his ability. So Thor Force costs 3 hammers, and this brings Thor into an kind of like a Super Saiyan state to shoot out thunderbolts. So he can not only be a melee character, he can be a ranged character in that state. Then of course he has the ability to throw his hammer and then have a return for one of his Thor forces. He has the ability to put a bubble up. Now this bubble, if enemies are inside the bubble, you get an extra Thor Force hammer to light up. And I'll explain how that kind of works as we continue into the tips and tricks. And then finally, he has the ability to wind up his hammer and thrust towards the enemy. His ultimate is he rises into the sky, shooting down lightning bolts on the ground, and then finally coming down in a crashing, thundery explosion of awesome. And then, of course, in this game, which, again, I never really played with a Hela, if you're playing with a Hela and you're Thor, she has the ability to revive you, which happened to me once in this game and threw me off guard, but that is one of the team ups. Besides, I believe the other one is with Storm and Captain America and giving them an electric attack. Now, what have I learned while playing with Thor? Thor is an attack DPS, and he has some combos that you can use to utilize all of his strength. The one being, and this is a combo I've been trying to learn from a higher tier player while watching them, is winding up his hammer like so, like I did right there, using the blue orb to get at least 1 or 2 enemies within it so that it charges up his Thor Force. And again, I could be calling that wrong, but I always make up names for certain abilities, but it's Thor Force to give you back a 3rd hammer to use his Super Saiyan mode to start shooting lightning, which is his strongest form. And then on top of that, as you can see, I have the ability to use his ult. You want to use his ult when you have multiple people under you, so that you get the lightning damage on them, but at the same time, when you go down, take them out or do heavy damage to them. If you don't have enough Thor Force to go into his stronger attack, you can always thrust to the enemy and start melee damaging them, because it basically starts adding to the energy Thor needs to go into a Super Saiyan mode. Also, you can throw his hammer. It is not a bad alternative option when it comes to taking down the enemy. You know, if you're at a distance from the enemy and you want to throw the hammer, go ahead, throw the hammer. It only takes 1 of his energy sources to throw the hammer, and then you can lunge at an enemy. And again, if you have 1 or 2 enemies within that blue bubble, which not only stuns them, I believe it stuns them, but it gives you energy back, which allows you to go into Super Saiyan mode, or Super Thor mode, we'll call it. Do it, because again, the faster you can get your hammers up, the faster you can get closer to the enemy, the faster you can go into Super Thor. the more fun Thor can be. And he can be challenging because it took me maybe a couple of games to figure out what they meant by Thor Force, or how to get the energy back into his hammers, because when I was watching the #1 player, I couldn't figure out how he was getting into the enemy, getting back his one hammer, because it only takes one hammer to thrust towards the enemy, getting it back, and then going into his elevated state. I finally figured it out again while going back to the practice range and then playing in here to see, oh, that's how it works. And what you saw in that last clip right there where the hammer was floating, Hela had the option to either revive me or gain more health to herself in order to gain more health for herself instead of reviving me. I don't know where I was going with that. But Thor is, again, a great attack tank. He's not someone you want to solo with because he's the type to get into the fight and be more up close and aggressive and use his elevated state, because in his elevated state, like there, you get bonus health as well, and you're more powerful to take down enemies. Again, it does take a bit of aim. Yes, I know my aim's not the greatest. I know I need glasses. I get it, but using that form can really be devastating, and getting that form multiple times in a game, almost back to back, and then throwing the hammer can really be a great combo with Thor. Now, I would not, another tip on this, I would not solo tank with Thor. As I said before, I think I just said that. He would be good combo with maybe like a Magneto, because you can get a bubble around you as you go into the fight. I faced Thor multiple times as Groot, and he's taking me down as multiple times as Groot. It's hard to face him as a Groot. He does well against other melee tanks like Venom, or getting close and personal with the Thing. He's a strong tank character. So if this is something you want to use down the road, instead of using like a defensive tank like Strange or Magneto, or even like Penny when you're doing convoys for defense, which I'm trying to add Penny in my arsenal, then Thor is a great character to learn and add to your arsenal. He's confusing at first, but he's easy to learn over time. So tell me what you think of Thor. Do you like Thor? Do you hate Thor? What are the counters you use towards Thor? If you are a Thor main, what are the combos you like to use? Let's have a conversation in the comments about Thor. Tell me, let me know. I'd like to learn more, and I'd like to have a conversation with other Marvel players. Or tell me what you think of Marvel. Let's have a conversation. But also, can you please sub to help me grow my channel, get bigger. Like the video so that YouTube likes me. And of course, go check out all my other Marvel content and all my other character reviews I have. I have a lot of DPS characters up and coming. Right now I have the 5 best DPS characters for controller. I'm gonna have the 5 worst, and then after Thor I'm gonna do the 5 tanks and the 5 worst, or I can just do the top 3 because there's less. But also follow me on Snippy Shorts, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all Snippy Joker related. I appreciate all the love and support I get for all those that watch this or continue to watch this, and I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you on the next one.
Only 60 seconds left. Disappear!
Beholds the god of thunder! Twas but a scratch. The enemy is here. Slow down. Sit here.
Down to 30 seconds.
The wrath of Asgard.
Stay tough. Be safe in Central Park again.
down. Battle Fury burn!